Hi, Nora.
Hey. Hmm. Can you hear me, Giulia? Mm. Hola, hola.
Hello. Waiting a couple of minutes to see if more people is joining us. Mhm. So, hello everyone. How are you doing?
Hi,
Mm,
guys.
I will maybe wait a couple of more minutes still. I think more people is joining, and then I will start. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to your fourth and last session of the psychedelic preparation series. My name is Giulia and I take care of the meals and diet of our beloved participants in soul medicine retreats in Mexico. And today I will explain you how to prepare the body for ceremonial psychedelic experience from a nutritional perspective. And so why do we want to prepare the body for a psychedelic mushroom experience? So I truly believe that everything we eat and the way how we nourish our body is affecting our nervous system and our entire being. So eventually our overall well-being, our vital force, and our energy level that we always need to function in a good way. So when we prepare well our body for a psychedelic experience, we make sure to have a good environment for our mind and our body, so to have a more comfortable experience and to feel better and to make space for the medicine to work better in our system when we choose to do this type of work. So any questions so far? So as we begin to prepare for our retreat, the ideal is to start focusing on dietary cleansing about a week before, like already since we decide to sign in for the retreats. The ideal is to start focusing on a more conscious way of eating and nourishing our system. But especially like a week before, a few days before, the ideal is to start reducing the consume of inflammatory food, refined sugar, heavy foods, and overfeeding like fried red meats, large meals, alcohol, caffeine that can cause anxiety, can cause dehydration, and for sure overstimulation of our nervous system. And like dairy, gluten, all these processed food that can cause discomfort during the experience. And so to start focusing on whole food, unprocessed. And when I say unprocessed whole food, I mean like food that keeps its natural state, that it is as close as possible to its natural state, and not necessarily like eating them raw or just like without condiments, but preparing like good healthy meals with simple food, fruits, vegetables, green leaves, berries, lean proteins like fish, tofu, tempeh, chicken when we eat meat. Then in the retreats, it will be completely plant-based, but at home, we can opt some chicken on turkey instead of eating red meat or a cheeseburger. And to be sure that we are drinking plenty of water, like to check on our hydration level. like having a good hydration. It's always supporting our body function and helps stay clear-minded. And we can implement this also by eating fruits and vegetables that are full of water, like watermelons, cucumber, coconut water, herbal teas like chamomile, peppermint, lavender, that they have a calming properties, and that can for sure help us to calm down our nervous system when we are in this process of down tuning a little bit from all the outer world, and like make more space for a calm mind to calm with more presence and more centered to the retreats and to the ceremonies. And there is a little like a exercise that we can do to calculate how much water we need to drink. You can apply it always in our life. It doesn't have to be just for the ceremony or just for this preparation. We can take our weight and divide it for 7, and it gives us the number of glasses of water that we should drink during the day, and like 250 milliliters glass of water. So for example, 60 kilos divided per 7, it gives about 8-9 glasses, 250 milliliters glasses of water per day. And yeah, so opting for anti-inflammatory foods, omega-3, rich foods like flax seeds, chia seeds, whole grains, nuts, wild berries, and yeah, by cutting down all this processed food and opting for healthier options, for sure, like it allows the body to operate like more smoothly. Yes, it's a really good way to clean ourselves. Yeah. Any questions so far?
Hi, ladies. I don't know if you can hear me well. I'm just traveling on the train.
Cecilia, I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me if I speak like this?
I can hear you. Giulia, can you hear us?
I cannot hear you.
I could also hear Laura. No. So I am here. Should I write in the chat?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if Giulia can hear us.
I cannot hear anyone. Just give me a moment and I figured out how to activate the microphone.
It's funny, it's like we are in pizza reality.
No, este es mi micrófono.
But they hear you?
Mhm.
I have no idea.
Can you hear us now?
Ah, yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Pia. Okay, so any questions so far? Thank you for your waiting.
Can you hear me now?
Sorry. Yeah, I can.
Can you hear me? Sorry, I'm traveling on the train and I wanted to join this call. I'm also a friend of Pia, and sometimes I cook for her retreat, and I heard from all of you already, so very nice to meet you through the screen. And my question would be like, sometimes I also cook for psychedelic retreats, sometimes mushroom or sometimes ayahuasca, and many people come with different idea. Some idea is, for example, to do complete fasting for the retreat. My question is, how much is it recommended? Is it really good for our body to be so empty? Because sometimes I feel if I do fasting, I get very tired after some days. So how extreme do we have to go with clean eating? If I, for example, already eat gluten-free, sugar-free, and dairy-free, but some people really have this idea to do fasting before. So what do you think about this?
I cannot hear you very well, but maybe if I understood right, are you asking about fasting, if it's a good idea to fast before the ceremonies? Yeah. Yeah, it's highly recommended, like at least few hours of fasting before the retreat. Like, I mean, before the ceremony, sorry, before taking psychedelics in general. Because when we go with an empty stomach, for sure we allow the body to focus better, to focus more energy on the psychological and emotional experience instead of being distracted by the digestion process, the digestive process. Yeah. But not everyone, it's like fasting is not suitable for everybody, and all the bodies are different. So we can opt for light digestive meal, some fruits, some salad, smoothies. Yeah, did I answer to your question? No, sorry. So maybe I didn't well.
It's okay, don't worry.
Yeah.
Giulia, you can look in the chat. She said she means more for 4 to 5 days of fasting. Is that correct? Thanks. Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 days of fasting. Like, is the question if it's like that you need to do this and if it's okay to do it, or what's the
I
question?
met many people when I cook for retreats that they say that they want to do fasting, and sometimes I don't know what to answer to them, that if it's needed, if it's recommended, if it's beneficial. So I just want to understand what's your understanding of it.
For sure, if you're if somebody is willing to do so many days of fasting, it's not a bad idea, but always like being careful of having like enough energy also to sustain the medicine, to be there sitting in ceremony, and to don't be like too brain foggy, and always also because psychedelics are requiring lots of physical energy to work with. So I think it's good to do fasting, but maybe not a complete fasting or 4 or 5 days before taking psychedelics, especially mushrooms that are, at least for me, they are sometimes heavy for the body. So if I eat before mushrooms, for sure, I'm not gonna have a good time. But having something light few hours before or doing like a very light diet, it's recommended, sorry. Yeah. And did you have participants actually doing 4 or 5 days of fasting before coming to ceremony? And how were they feeling?
Mostly they were feeling very good. Also, like other participants also were fasting during the retreat, for example, and it was good for them. I don't know if it's really good for everybody because of the lack of energy, but yeah, I never tried. Like sometimes I fasted before retreat also, but not so strictly that just water, so more like juices. And I think that that's more beneficial for you than very full on.
Yeah, I wouldn't go super strict about it, but everyone is different, and the most important thing is listen to our body and to their needs, and also to identify what's a need of our body actually, and what comes from the anxiety of the mind. And for sure, eat less, it's better, always. What I experience is that most of the people, myself included, we have cravings because of the anxiety of the mind. And in this case, well, in the retreats, it's like the diet, it's planned to be healthy and to take care of the nutrients that people needs to do this experience. But yeah, there are always like healthy options that grounds us, that allowed us to connect better to our body, like sweet potatoes, carrots, whole grains, fruits. Yeah. And maybe in another environment, maybe it would be recommended to do so much fasting, but yeah, I don't know. Like in the retreats, for example, we have a lot of other activities that requires physical energy. So yeah, I think it's good to eat a little bit. Yeah.
I have a question, Giulia. For somebody who isn't like doing that many ceremonies, are not really like involved so much in this work so far, like yet, how can they begin to listen to their body? Because you were talking about like, you know, to listen to the body, to know how long to fast or not to fast. So like, how can they begin to do that? And how can they know the difference between their mind and their body is like actually really needing food?
Good question. By start practicing to shut down a little bit the outer world and focusing more in inward, by start like paying attention of what's the body asks and the effect of what we eat, because what I eat can have an effect on my body which is different from the effect that your body can have by eating the same meal, same food. So yeah, by being more present, more conscious of how we are eating, Also by practicing, yeah, just by being very conscious of the way we eat and what we eat and where our food comes from, how it's prepared, what's our intention. Or still exploring myself and finding out what's really good for my body and how can I provide a good, how can I understand what's really good for other people, because we are all so different. Also, depending on our, like, this is a little bit another topic, but the right diet, good for us, even though we are going everybody, maybe in a group, everyone are going to do the same experience. I mean, taking the same psychedelic plant, for example, we all have maybe different blood groups, constitutions, needs. So I think the best answer is just trying to know ourselves as much as we can.
I have a question. So in terms of developing a healthy relationship with the food that we're eating, like how can we uplift the vibration of the food, like in our relationship with food? Because what I notice with myself is sometimes I tend to just shovel food in when I'm hungry. And like how can I better like have a better relationship with the food to ingest a higher vibration within my own being, to like more deeply connect with the medicine and psychedelic work in general?
Thank you for your question. So by practicing consciousness, mindfulness on what we are doing first, so practicing like being grateful, giving thanks for what we are eating, trying to focus on like our intention of nourishing deeply our body, our system, like focusing really like being present on the action that we are doing in this moment of taking a bite and exploring the texture, paying attention to the colors, the flavor, and not thinking about something else while we are eating, for example, or while we are taking medicine, and remembering that we are eating because our body, our machine, our main motor needs energy to function, and the food we eat, it's energy for our system, our motor that is doing the best it can to function, to give us energy, to absorb the nutrient for our nervous system. So yeah, eating more intentionally, more mindful, in a more mindful way, and make a prayer. I like to pray. We like to pray together before eating, before sharing our meals in the retreats, and it's a beautiful practice that we can always do, even when we are alone at home or at the restaurant, at our mom house. Being grateful and acknowledging where the food we are eating comes from.
Thank you so much. So helpful.
Thank you. Yeah. Any other question?
I have maybe one more question. It's more like a theoretical question. I observed that whenever I met indigenous people, they always have a diet which involves chicken. And whenever we cook for retreats, we always cook plant-based. And I'm wondering, is this designed for like the Western body that we have to eat plant-based? I understand that it's always like not processed and sugar-free and very light food, but what's causing the difference between the indigenous people who can eat fish and eggs and chicken and the Western people who are recommended to eat mostly plant-based?
Good question that I ask myself as well, because even though I cook plant-based, and when I prepare for a ceremony, I go plant-based completely and start like cutting out as much as I can. I think chicken and fish, not seafood, but fish, like white fish. They're also rich in nutrients and the omega-3 fatty acids that our body needs. So I don't see anything wrong by eating them, like maybe cooking them in like in a light way. And why in the Western community we choose to don't do this and always opt for plant-based? This, I don't know how to answer to this question. I think it's more because well, first, we are not natives people. We're not indigenous. We are Western people, and we started bringing these traditions to our cultures to help people. Like most of the people who started this, I think they're mostly like choosing a healthy way of living and not eating animals. Just like opting for a non-violent non-violent nutrition, like or maybe it's because it's more suitable for all the participants that are coming, and avoiding preferences. Or what do you think, why we are doing this difference between indigenous people and Western culture?
I don't know. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, I don't know either. This is just what I'm supposing. It's yeah. Nora?
I have an idea when you were speaking, because I've asked myself this question a lot of times, because when I go to sit with my teachers, we eat actually a huge meal before ceremony and a huge meal after, because they say we need a lot of energy for this experience. But what I was thinking about when you were speaking is that as Western people, generally our life is so much more saturated. Like we have so much more information coming to us physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like our world has so many stimulants that maybe we need this little bit more of a drastic reset to come back to this level point. Whereas somebody who's living, like a more indigenous lifestyle, living in the jungle or living like away from society in a way, their mind, body, and spirit is already at a like let's say a clearer space. So even like the food that they eat, even if they do eat chicken or from fish, it comes from their village. Like, you know, maybe they even get it themselves. And so just the relationship that they're already having, that baseline is already so much more closer to the source that it doesn't affect them as much for us, as since everything for us is like from the store, coming from a factory, coming from a farm far away. So that kind of more, let's say, drastic reset through the plant-based makes us come back. Does that make sense to you guys? Because that's what I was thinking when you were speaking.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know.
Like in Ayurveda philosophy, animals, they are classified like the energy that the nutritional energy that you can receive from animals, it classifies as the lowest and more dense energy that you can get. So I think it's just that we have more informations nowadays, and as you said, we have way more stimulations from our outer world. So the food we get is never as clean as the food, the chicken and the fish that indigenous people can get in their communities by going fishing in the river or eating their chicken from their farm, from their land. They're just not farm, but their normality. So maybe it's the reason why we opt for a plant-based diet and recommended preparation is to, like, the intention is to try to come as clean as possible in our energy, so to have a better environment for our mind and body, to work with the medicine, to practice yoga, to practice meditation, and yeah.
I have one more question, if that's okay. So
Yes.
in terms of like this talk about fasting and preparation for a psychedelic experience, I can see some benefit in that, but then I'm also just questioning like whether we have to have the right resources for us to go through the process of an actual ceremony, you know, and also maybe like depending, it's like it's a toll on the body, correct? Like, do you feel like it's the nourishment would be important before we go into a ceremony, so we're like able to actually, our body's able to actually handle the medicine? Does that make sense?
Don't I don't think we need the nutrients in order to handle the medicine. I think it's true that the medicine can work better when we are when we don't have to focus energies on the digestive system. But our body does need energies. Our body does need energies to keep on functioning. So unless we are deciding to offer and going to the mountain, doing vision quest, or another type of ceremonies where we are choosing to fast for several days, I think our bodies still need nutrients and energies in order to function better. And but paying attention to don't be downloaded with like down-weighted, that our digestive system is not burdened. the answer to your question? Ash?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. But it came to mind too, like with the integration, to say that we're like go through a process when we're like working with psychedelic medicine and we want to ground like
Mhm.
after the process, sometimes people can still be a bit floaty or going through their processes. In which way do you feel food can serve to ground us and bring us back?
So when we come out, like after the experience, we tend to be a little like bodily and emotionally tender and weaker. And during the experience, we are using lots of energy and all our resources. So it's pretty good to start integrate it back slowly, like light but nourishing and dense meals that can help us grounding and actually come back, and so that we can rest, so that we can process the experience and have back our like can regulate our nervous system and just process the experience. So something light but healthy fats, and something that is grounding us, like soup, whole grains, quinoa, sweet potatoes, carrots, pumpkin, a broth, a smoothie. And it's not necessarily we need to, because maybe after the ceremony we comes out very like starving sometimes. And I think it's, the ideal is to take a little soup, maybe with some quinoa in it, and then go rest. But for sure not keep on fasting after the ceremony, unless we want to. Maybe we can choose to go deeper with the process. But in the type of work we are doing in soul medicine, it's important to ground back, to come back to our body, to come like to come back on clarity and go rest, because it's lots of work that is also coming after the day after and all the other days of the retreat. So we have to take like in account, consider all these aspects. It is not just the ceremony itself, it's a more holistic integral work that requires energy and the right nutrition.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So yeah, also remember that the nutrition we receive is not just from what we eat, but also from what we see, from what we hear, from what we touch, from what we speak. We receive nourishment, not like nutrition, but nourishment from everything that we found ourselves in, like in all the environments. So socially, just by watching a movie, listening music, having a conversation with somebody, being in a city or in the traffic jam. So So really like start to down tune all that and keep in mind that all this nutrition is affecting our brain, our system, our body in a certain way. And as clean as we come to this experience, and as much we can enhance the experience, can be more effective, more enjoyable. Yeah. So yeah, like it's a good way to keep in mind holistically all these points, so we can really prepare ourselves holistically for a more like integral experience for our overall well-being and health. So maybe to also recommend to the participants that before coming to the retreats, maybe they can take some time before a few weeks to start spending less time on their digital device, going for more walks in nature, to start practicing more meditation, because maybe somebody is already doing it, somebody doesn't used to. Maybe to avoid organizing a dinner with friends, but spending more time alone and trying to go more inward as much as we can. So that the mind comes to a more calm space. And we're prepared for the journey. And also another thing that comes to my mind, it's about supplements. And people have been asking me about supplements sometimes, and it's like I keep on researching on it and experimenting on myself and finding out like effects on my body, and seeing that when we can eat organic and good food and just make a research of, so if we need vitamins, we need B vitamins, E, C, and magnesium, and omega-3 fatty acids. We can find all of these things really in the food that we eat. Leaf greens, berries, and carrots. I'm like really super fan of carrots. Yeah, fish. But yeah, like this is to say that all like implementing like supplements that we can find in a specific food, and also yeah, we can also take in capsules and pills, but helps our nervous system to regulate, to calm down, to be less chaotic, and so in this way we can also have more space and attention to focus on our body and what's happening in our body. And all of this, which it will be the ideal, will be to apply to our everyday life always. But if we are going to do this work, like signing in for a retreat, when we work with psychedelic medicine, it's like a good point to focus on, to be a bit more mindful, take care of all we are doing for our body. So how are we coming to this experience? How are we bringing our vehicle to this experience, and how can we serve our body? What can we give to our body so that it can function better, and we can work like more, we can connect in a more profound way with the medicine we are choosing to take and to work with. Mhm. Okay. So, yeah, if you have more questions, I'd be happy to figure out answers with you. And otherwise, I think the session is came to the end. Thank you to Giulia. Thank you for being here. It was a pleasure to meet you. And yeah, have a good, beautiful evening, or I don't know where you are, but beautiful day or afternoon.
Thank you, guys. Nice to meet you soon.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Giulia. Very informative, very lovely.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to your colorful, beautiful food that you serve. Yeah,
Mm.
your purple soup.
Just using pictures of the purpose. Yeah. Okay. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Giulia.
much, guys.